In this video, you are going to study about the identification of FDP. FDP means fibrin degradation product that used to be formed in the case of menstrual blood only. So indirectly, you are going to detect the presence of menstrual blood by doing the analysis of these tests. So the first test that you can go for is the assay of FDP in the stain extract. The other test that you can go for is immunochromatographic assay for the identification of D dimer. So before going through these tests, the first prerequisite for the analysis is the extraction of the stain. So the extraction of the stain is used to done with the help of a saline solution. So once you have extracted the sample, then you can go for the analysis. The first test was the assay of FTP, which is also called as heme agglutination inhibition method. So the principle of this test is the ability of the menstrual blood to inhibit the heme agglutination. So what happened in this case, you have to take the RBC of a sheep and then you have to coat it with the human fibrinogen. So what happened upon coating with the human fibrinogen, these RBCs will going to coagulate or agglutinate with each other. So this agglutination would be ceased or would be impacted by adding the sample if that sample contained the menstrual blood. Why? Because in the menstrual blood there is an enzyme called as plasmin that used to do the fibrinolysis. So because of the lysis of the fibrinogen, or you can say that because of the lysis of the fibrin, the clotting or the agglutination will not take place. But if the sample which you have added is the source is came from the bleeding, that is an outcome of the bleeding, then the agglutination will take place. So what happened in if I summarize this test, you have to take the RBC of sheep and you have to coat it with the fibrinogen, and then you have to add the sample, the question sample, and you have to observe the agglutination reaction. If the agglutination reaction does take place, it means the sample, it means the your question sample is the outcome of a normal bleeding. If the agglutination is inhibited, then it shows that sample is an outcome of the menstrual blood. The next test that you can go for is the immunochromatographic assay test. So this immunochromatographic assay test used to be done with a device called as D-dimer device. So it is a kit, uh, ready to test kit, in which you have to pour the sample in the sample zone, the question sample, and then based upon the diffusion through the stationary phase, here the different bands could be formed. So if you visualize two bands, so it shows the positive test. If you visualize only one band, it shows the as a negative test. So here I'm going to tell you the principle based of these D-dimer devices, how they used to work and what is the principle behind it. So first of all, before going to the principle, just remember three things: that this particular area is called as sample zone, this area is called as test zone, and the third area is called as your control zone. Okay, so in case of the here is the area where you are going to put the sample. In case of positive, you will get band in this area. In case of negative, you will not get band in this area. And in the control zone, you will always get a band to know whether the kit is working or not. Okay, so here is the principle, that first of all, initially in the sample zone, you are going to put the sample. The thing that you are looking for the detection is of D dimer. That is the product of, that is a part of the FTP. So what happened here, D dimer used to act as an antigen, and the antibodies that are generated against these D dimer are used for the identification in this process. So here two types of antibodies could be used. The first is the anti-D dimer antibody and the other is the anti-globulin, which is an antibody of a antibody, anti-D dimer itself. Okay, so what happened in the anti-D dimer antibody is also of two type. Here we have used, so, and one anti-D dimer antibody is labeled with some coloration thing, and the other one is the unlabeled. So what happened initially in the sample zone, you have placed your sample, that is, it may, the sample, the question sample may contain D dimer or it may not contain. But apart from the this sample, the thing which is already present in the sample zone is the anti D dimer antibody, and these are the labeled unbound antibodies. So they are freely available, they are loosely bound antibodies which are present in the sample zone. So as soon as D dimer, the antigen would be placed inside the sample zone, they will get attached through these to form a complex, antigen antibody complex. But these antibodies are present in a huge number. So some of the antibodies will still remains detached or still remain as an antibody itself, they will not form a complex. So once this reaction does take place, then these antibodies used to diffuse through the chromatographic film towards the test zone and control zone. So what happened, these antigen antibody complex, in this the antigen has two binding sites. So the one binding site has been attached with this, the other binding site is still free. So this free binding site used to get bound with the immobilized anti-D dimer antibody which is present in the test zone. So in the test zone, a number of immobilized anti-D dimer antibodies which are present, that are going to link as soon as it is come in contact with the D dimer. So thus a sandwich kind of complex would be formed of antibody, antigen and antibody. As these, the antibodies which were loosely bound earlier were labeled one, so here you would be able to see the colored band because of the sandwich formation. Now what happened, as I told you, a number of detached or unbound anti-D dimers are still present, so they are further going to migrate towards the control zone and they are going to bound with the antiglobulin. So these antiglobulin is going to get bound to form a antibody complex, and thus they becomes labeled. So this labeling used to take place irrespective whether the sample contains D dimer or not. So the coloration in this zone will take place in either of the case. Whereas the coloration of this band would be only take place if this D dimer would be present. So thus this zone shows the presence or absence of D dimer, whereas this shows the um, this part of the test shows whether the kit is working properly or not. So here, by here is the principle that I have just dictated to you. I hope the concept of this test is clear to you all. Thank you.